Hi, and welcome to this special Zen Supermom podcast episode. It is for you if you notice that the time started speeding up since you became a mom. And maybe in some of these moments when it's your birthday, it's your kid's birthday, or the New Year celebrations, you suddenly take a pause and realize, oh my goodness, where did all that time, where has it gone? It's flowing so fast now, faster than ever before. So if you're realizing that maybe you're running your life on busy, doing, and never having the time to really pause and rest, and start asking those questions about, well, maybe what is it that I am grateful for that is going great? And where is my nose headed? Where is it pointing? How is it going to be my next few stages and phases of my life? Am I headed in the direction that I like, that I enjoy? Or is there some course correction that I would like to take, that I would choose to take to make sure I arrive where I want to be and that I do feel the way I want to feel getting there? Well, if that's what you would like to do with me and take this special episode to do that together with me as I reflect on my journey, not only in the Zen Supermom business and program, but also in my private, personal life, me as a mom. So if that's what you would like to do with me, then let's go. You're invited. Hi, Supermom or Superdad. Alena here, your mommy tantrum specialist and the founder of the Zen Supermom system. And me and my team have helped hundreds of moms and dads start setting healthy boundaries with calm. And this is the first parenting podcast that is not about your kids, that shows you why none of the parenting techniques helped you stop yelling at your kids and how to control your emotions from jumping out so that you can be the safe, loving parent you wish you had growing up. This is the Zen Supermom podcast. Hi, my name is Alena and I'm the founder of the Zen Supermom, where we help busy, loving supermoms and superdads start setting healthy boundaries with their kids and with themselves so that they can stop yelling at their kids. And that's what this podcast has been dedicated to now for the last 99 episodes. Hey, party! And this is the anniversary, episode 100. And so it is going to be some, how do they call it? Like balancing, looking back and looking forward. But I also want to use that as a coaching opportunity, reflection time for you in your life. Because so often when we are running, we don't take the time to reflect, where are we running towards? And one of the inspirations for this episode was actually also a group call we just had last night with our Zen Supermom moms inside the program, where the first hot seat, that's what we do in the group calls, we do hot seats, meaning there's a woman who comes who has some struggle, challenges, questions, and by me helping her, coaching her, everybody else listens and learns. And so the first hot seat yesterday night was from a mom who felt like such a failure because I lost it with my kids again, even though I did my podcast episode to inspire other moms. And here I am feeling like such an imposter because how can I be an inspiration for somebody else if I'm not perfect? And so this morning, I was thinking about how my work day is going to go today. And I was feeling like, well, I wanted to record this special podcast episode, but I was feeling tired. I have been having late nights because even though I'm better at keeping my boundaries, there are still times when I choose to make exceptions and I choose to still work at night. And so this week has been heavy. It's been heavy with work and I have less time to rest than I normally do. And so when I woke up this morning, I felt like, I was planning to do this special podcast episode, but I don't feel like I have enough energy to be my, this excited and celebration, and to be the inspiration for other moms that you can do it all and still be like the light of the party and show them how it's done and have this high energy. I was like, I'm not feeling this is me today. So I should not do the podcast episode. I should wait for a day when I am better rested so that I can show up being my 100% self. But then thanks to the hot seat of the mom last night, I realized masks off, permission granted to show up the way you are. And maybe this is also what the women in my audience need to see. It's okay not to be 100% always there and pretending this is who I always am and I never get it wrong and I never raise my voice at my daughter again and I never make mistakes as a leader, as a business owner, as a coach or a therapist. Like, no, please do not put me on a pedestal. And do not look for heroes in your life who would be the ultimate 1000% perfection. Because then you're setting yourself up for a failure and it doesn't serve anybody. Permission granted to it's okay to not have every day a perfect day. And actually, this is the fun in it, because so when I realized I am going to do this episode, even with whatever my energy, whatever tired face you can see, maybe this is exactly what you need to see. How can it look like knowing that this is not going to be your best day ever and still feeling at peace about it and still feeling good enough and still not feeling like a failure, not feeling like you need to hide because it means you're failing. I still feel great today. Yes, my energy is lower. Yes, I'm tired. I did not overbook my schedule today. This is like, it's 12:34, early afternoon. Once I'm finished with this, I'm going to take lunch and I'm not going to work for the rest of the day. I will go for a walk. I will do like some stuff. Look at this. I have so many things going on. My daughter is going to celebrate her birthday, 7 years this weekend. So I still have some stuff to do as a mom. I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to force it. I'm going to clean up my to-do list and I am going to take the time to rest. Yeah. And this is not to trigger your victim, like, easier for you said than done. I have a corporate job. I have to sit there till the afternoon and pretend at least that I'm working. No. Your life is what you make of it. And yes, some things are out of your control, but let's focus on those things that are within your control. How often is it your voices in your head, the pressure that you put on yourself in order to feel good enough? And that's the reason, that's the big chunk of your overfilling to-do list. Yes? So that's kind of like the introduction for this episode. What a weird introduction. Well, it is what it is. Perfectly imperfect. But that's just to explain that, let's do it anyways, shall we? So I did take notes exceptionally for this episode today because there were some points I wanted to get across, and because my brain is slower today, I did not want to rely on it to remember all these points, so I noted them down. Why not? So let me start. Yeah, this is 100th podcast episode, and so a little bit of looking back. I'm going to go even further. And I made this note actually, 2 months back? I discovered my old vision board from 14 years ago. Yeah, I was crazy already back then. Crazy in self-development and stuff. I was still working at the corporate world. I was on a leadership track because somehow they identified me as somebody who has the potential to grow into further bigger roles. And so I went into my first leadership training, and that's where we had 2 coaches who were supposed to support us in that process. And that's when my life was changed forever. When I had the experience of what coaching is, what it feels like to be coached. And when I automatically my brain started connecting dots. And I actually became the third coach of the group without having any education, without knowing what coaching is. I just started seeing the patterns in how people were speaking, what troubles they were having and how they were feeling and not good enough and this is it and complaining about other people. I started connecting the dots and just asking them questions about their past. And I was like, this is why, and this is why. And so this is how it's going to go. Is that how you're feeling now? And they were like, what the heck? Where did you even get it? Like, you know nothing about me. We just met and you're telling me more about my life, connecting what I didn't even realize. Like, how is that even possible? So I came back from that leadership training and I made my vision board. And a part of that vision board was like I had there a picture about like the mind. There was a colorful picture of the brain lighting up and sparkles going out of it and like helping others. And the funny thing is that was there as well. I put there MBA. That I wanted to do MBA, which is like the business whatever graduation kind of, in order to be able to have a career in a corporate world, because my background is in sociology, social studies, not in business. And I was in a telecommunications company where everybody, they were either tech guys or they were having MBA, like a business degree, in order to become leaders and run the business. I was none of that. So I was thinking, well, then this is what I need to do. I put there coaching because I was like, oh, my mind was blown. That was the first time ever in my life I felt in the flow. You know, the moment like in a movie when everything is zoomed in, all of your attention focuses on the one thing, and as if time stopped existing, space stopped existing, and you're being in it. So that's why I put there coaching, because that's how I felt for the first time ever in my life. And I put there MBA. Because I was thinking, well, if they put me on a leadership track, there's obviously something they see in me that I don't see, but okay, whatever. Well, maybe if I do MBA, I will get a better chance of having a better job and even better for my ego and better salary. And how amazing is that? Little girl from Czech mountains with like no background, and I can make it so far, and how good that makes me feel. And so when I found this vision board 2 months ago, I was thinking, well, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how the passion and the dream I didn't even know I had, it actually came true? Because this is what I do for a living now. And I do it not just for me, but I even built a team so that they can do what they love doing for a living. And I can help even more, like so many more people than I ever thought would be possible. And isn't it funny that I did not need an MBA just to feel good enough and just to prove anything? That I didn't take the path that was kind of expected, or that was outlined, that this would be the normal standard way to do that, the safe way, the expected way that other people in front of me earlier on, they tried it works, so go that path, take MBA. I did not do that. I didn't need to do that, and I'm happy I didn't do that, because that would just fuel all of that not good enough generational childhood trauma. If you've been listening to my podcast, I can say that you will not get scared, because that's what it was about, right? So I had a aha moment looking back at my vision board, and I realized that this is really what people tried to tell me before, and I never fully grasped that idea until I saw my own vision board from 14 years ago. It's really not about the things. My vision board was not about things and getting stuff done. And those pieces that were about things, some of them came through, some of them didn't, but I didn't care about any of them. What I cared most about was the feeling. I felt connected. I still felt how I felt back then making that vision board. And I was so freaking grateful when I saw it again now, because I realized this is exactly the feeling I was after. And holy moly, I made it happen. And if you ask me 14 years ago, how am I going to become a coach? I would have no freaking clue. I would have given you a blank stare and I would just laugh it off as if, yeah, this is just my dream. You know what? Like, not even my dream. I would say, just don't take me too seriously. This is just what I felt. It was kind of fun. And so I'm curious. And I never felt that being in the zone feeling before. So that's why I put it there. And if I could somehow keep exploring it further, that would be great. But I have actually no idea what that means on my vision board. I just want to have more of that feeling, please. But I have no idea how. And that's the one piece that just stood out now 14 years later. Yeah. So the next time, now coming back after my long blah blah, I hope you're starting to make parallels with you and your life and where you're at right now. Running on busy, daily routines, daily to-do lists. Let's take a break. Have a look back 10, 15 years for yourself. What were your moments that sparked you up, even without knowing why and how and what to do about it? And how are you living into that or not today? Because if that completely slipped from your mind because other things became priorities, maybe isn't that the reason why you might not be feeling 100% yourself? That you have given your life to being a mom, to having a family, to having a career. But now, if you're really being honest with yourself, there's part of you missing. So that's just the first invitation. First invitation to re-evaluate and have a look at your vision board now from a different perspective. That more than about putting there pretty pictures of things you'd like to have in the future, how do you want to feel? And what is it that gives you that spark that will give you energy when you feel like you need to recharge your batteries? That will give you that sense of purpose, getting out of bed in the morning. And when you look over your last week or month or year that has been so busy and so just like, I need a break. This is what is going to make the biggest difference. You can be running busy like crazy, just like my crazy week now this week. I am running. I am paying the price for it. I am tired. But I'm not burned out. I'm not taking it out on my loved ones. I'm not taking it out on myself. I am taking breaks very soon now because it's my passion that's driving it. It's not my trauma. It's not my not good enough. It's not the feeling that I need to go and prove something to somebody. It's not my ego that's worried, that's afraid of being criticized by others. Yeah? So put that on your vision board. What is it that's going to drive you even through the tough times? And then what if I could sneak in more of that into my day-to-day, no matter how busy I am and how many other priorities I have? What if I could? How could that look like? What are some little tiny pieces of it that I could just take in to recharge and keep going? Yeah. This is the first point I wanted to share. Going back to my list, my brain is cooked. Another thing I learned, and isn't that funny? I keep hearing it from the moms who want to join the program because they want to stop yelling at their kids. But once they see the free mommy tantrum training, they realize this is much more about kids. This is you. This is about your identity and how you're living your life. One of the things that I realized I was focusing on, or I was hoping for, I was running towards, was I was ready to do those big pushes. If some things were not going well in my life, like my career, my relationships, or anything, I was criticized for something, my attitude was always, well, let me fix it. Let me like do one big push so that I can fix it, and then I can move on to the next thing and I never have to deal with it again. So example, I decided to take the leap of faith, leave my well-paid, safe corporate job and start my own business. And I was thinking, well, okay, I have no background. I need to learn how to even run a business. I have my employee mindset. The more hours I work, the better somebody notices and finds value in what I do, the better I will be compensated and the more safety I can feel to stay in the job. That's not the mindset that will help you as a business owner. Nobody's there to count your hours and give you a paycheck for that, right? It's the opposite. The less you work, the more you make. But that sounds like, what? How? This is crazy. So when I was learning how to become visible, by the way, that was I could make another whole episode on that, becoming visible, because for somebody who's feeling so not good enough, you don't want to be seen, right? You don't want to be exposed to criticism and judgment and haters online, people who just think they can criticize and make comments about how terrible you look or speak or do whatever. But beyond visibility, the biggest challenge, the biggest thing that was tripping me over was me expecting to get quick results so that I can move on. Me fixing it once so that it's done for the rest of my life and I'm good and I'll be happy then and I can stop thinking about it then. So that was one of the things that I thought, well, if I just figure out how to run a business and how to have a good program or a good coaching offer, then people will start coming and then I will never ever have to think about it again and I'm done and I will just keep doing the same thing for the next 30, 40 years and then I retire. Yeah, right. I think you can already guess how that went. And so now I would invite you to think about how you are dealing with challenges. Are you also the type who wants to just make one big push, one big hyperachiever, perfectionist, controller push to get something solved? Like, let's solve this problem so that then it's gone and I can deal with another thing. And did that already backfire at you? Because that's what I started my business. So what is the timeline? I got certified as a coach in 2014, 2015. Since then, I started running my business in parallel with the work. Then I left the work. I became a mom. I took a break to be a mom for the first 1 year or 2 years of my daughter's life. And so then when I was coming back, I thought, well, this is just let me figure it out. How to become a profitable coach while having the time to be with my daughter. Let me figure out what I'm going to do and then I'll be done. And that's not what happened. And not only because of COVID, who threw it in the air, but then I also realized there are seasons, there are cycles, and things are changing. I am changing. My clients are changing. My family is changing. My daughter is growing up. So this is the aha moment I want to share with you for what it's worth if that resonates with you. You will never be done. You will never be done. Life will keep throwing things. And even things you thought you had under control, they will come back. I thought, even personal life, I thought I stopped yelling at my daughter, so it's good. Like, she's good. I'm not giving her any childhood trauma. She'll be okay. And then she comes one evening from school and she starts being picky about veggies. And I notice getting stressed out and annoyed by her again. Kind of like, I thought we had discussions about food. We already managed it. Where is this coming from again? I'm like, oh, okay, hello. Here we go. New stage, new level. How well do you practice what you preach, Mom? How calm can you stay? And how can you coach your daughter to eat her veggies and not drive you crazy by having to prepare another lunch and compromising your boundaries about what level of freedom is expected in terms of the food choice here in the house. You will never be done. And if that scares you because you're exhausted because of how fast and intense you've been running through your life and just trying to solve one challenge problem one after the other on no sleep and no energy, that is scary. Like, I totally get it, how you would not want to hear me say that. But this is the second piece of that point. You will never be done, and it's okay, because you can learn to take pauses. You can take a break to just reassess, to realize, was this strategy still working? Is it still working for me and for the kids? And if it's not, if they're growing up, well, maybe there is a time to reevaluate the boundaries, the rules. Yeah? Not because I'm tired today and I need to get you off of my back, but because you're growing up and it has changed. Yeah? And those are then also the moments when you can choose to ask yourself, and well, how could I make it easier for myself? Maybe I am still doing too much. Maybe I am still putting too much pressure on myself. How could I stop doing that? And how could this, what looks like a breakdown, could be an opportunity for a breakthrough? Because we are reevaluating. Yeah. And of course, obviously, this reevaluation will not be happening every dinner, every mealtime, not every week. But you will know when the time is right for it. So how about you give yourself that space? And you allow yourself to realize that, yeah, this work, you will never be done. And that's okay. There's not one quick fix. And it's okay. You can do it. Now you can. Yeah? So that was my second point. And what I wanted to add, yes, it gets better. Because what I realized when I was starting as a mom or in my business, what felt like such heavy lifts, heavy pushes, heavy things to do that took so much of my energy and mental space, now it's my warm-up. What seemed like a mountain that's too huge to climb, those mountains will not disappear. There will be still other mountains to climb, but you get better at climbing. You will climb it faster without losing your breath. And like that, what I used to think, I'm not going to sidetrack into all the pieces of business. I thought it's enough just to be a coach, but the amount of tech, marketing, sales, copywriting, systems, processes, everything I had to learn to become a business owner. Not even talking about leading a team of other people being on board and their fears and managing their family situation and moods and boundaries and everything. Like, I had to learn so much that at the beginning it seemed it was not a job for one person. It was at least a team of 10 people. I was doing a job of 10 and it felt so heavy. And now it's like that's part of my warm-up, right? So this is the thing as well for you. This is the good news. In being able to do more, that doesn't always mean that you will have to spend more energy. You will spend less and you will do it in less time. It will be part of your warm-up. So let's also look back and celebrate what 10, 15 years ago it would have knocked you down. And now it's just like, I'm doing it, baby. Yeah. That's what also gives you the energy for going. Keep going forward. You can. It's not going to cost you more. You can already do it. Yeah. Another part of the purpose then, and tying it back to your vision board, that passion, is one of my biggest moments when everything started becoming lighter, was when I took my ego out of it. Yes, we are receiving lots of confirmations that what we are doing now with the team, it's working, it is saving lives, it is helping families. And this is where I'm putting my nose now, looking forward about what's next. This is what will keep driving the vision. This is what will keep, let us keep going. But there was also a part of me, and that ties back to all the trauma healing and not good enough stuff. If your ego is tied up when things are going well, and so that's why you want more of it. You want more of success and more of the good times, because then it confirms your ego. Like, yes, now I'm the Zen Supermom and look at me and it's so good, and so many people telling me how great they feel thanks to me, and such a great ego boost. No, this is why I started this podcast episode by saying, do not put me or anybody else on a pedestal. They're just a human. And once you tie your purpose, your mission, whatever spark in your life, once you tie it to just you being in the zone and you knowing this is the right thing for me, regardless of what anybody says, regardless of anybody telling me thank you, or anybody telling me I changed their life forever. Like, who am I to tell you what your life purpose is? Maybe it is touching other people's lives, and then that's great to get the feedback just as a confirmation that, yeah, whatever you're doing, it's working. But your purpose, your alignment, it might look completely different. Maybe there is no human being to let you know how great you're doing. So does that mean you should stop? Or you shouldn't? So the moment you remove your ego and the need for external approval of others, and the need for needing to have everything perfect, under control, and knowing when you're at the beginning of the road, knowing the first 1,000 steps ahead, so that you can say, yes, now it feels safe, I know what to do, so I will take the first step because I know the other 999. That doesn't work like that. 14 years ago, looking at my vision board, I had no idea I was going to end up here, right? If you would tell me I would be doing 100th podcast episode, I'd be like, what? I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be heard. I have nothing to say. Why would these people listen to me? I would have sent you away, right? You will not know all 100 steps ahead. And you will not need anybody's validation or confirmation to tell you yes, on the right track. If you only listen to those sparkles, if you only listen to that feeling, like, yes, how it feels to be in the zone, how it feels when your soul knows this is it. Yeah. And this is why what we are doing in the program is so huge, because we are cleaning up all of that not good enough trauma, because that's really what's tripping you up, right? It's not just about your kids. It is impacting every single area of your life. It impacts on how you look at yourself when you wake up in the morning. And once you heal it, you will notice you stop being so judgmental and critical, not just about others, but yourself as well. And how much easier is it than to go and live the life you choose, not the life you feel pressured to have, or at least like to put that mask on that everybody expects from you. Yeah. So that was another point that I realized it is a lot about the ego. And then the better you get at something, the more you need to check that ego out of the door. Because the more good feedback there is coming in, there's that part of you that's still hurt from your childhood that needed to hear that desperately, that you're good enough and that you're doing a great job. If you start feeding your trauma with that good feedback, then you're in a vicious cycle again. Then you would become addicted to it and do it for that. Yeah. So this is also kind of like a red flag for those who are doing well. Your life is going great. Maybe apart from yelling at your kids or something out of that needs cleaned up. But other than that, you're doing pretty well. You're being proud of how your life has turned out to be. Then just check out the ego to make sure that layer is healed as well, and it's not going to trip you over a few years from now. Yeah. Good. Let's look into the future, shall we? Where are we going next? Best summer ever. I think we had podcast episode few episodes back about what if you could have the best summer ever? How would that look like? And how is it that you can start feeling that way now? And as always, I always bring into these episodes what's relevant for me in that moment. And I realize it even more now than I realized it when I was recording that best summer ever podcast episode back then. Because in the meantime, it's so funny how they always say, watch out what you wish for, because dreams do come true. Our dreams are coming through, kind of. It looks like they might. Our daughter was admitted to international school, which is amazing. We are so excited about it. But what that means is that we will be moving. We will be moving a city. It's not too far, nothing like, it's not an expatriate move, but it does kind of change everything because like all of your network structure, everything, you just have to replant yourself. On top of us having planned epic holidays, and I already planned to take 3 weeks out of work, but now with the move, the upcoming move and transition, it will take even more time. While I am building the team even more, we have already 8 people inside, and I have been delegating more and more of stuff so that I release myself from the operational day-to-day as much as I can. And so, yeah, not even talking about somebody's birthday here. So watch out what you wish for. So I will be practicing everything that I preach. Because my initial reaction when I realized, we are going to move and it will be in the middle of the summer and I will have even less time to work and even more things to be done. And how the heck am I not going to get burned out and stressed out and totally exhausted by the end of it? So I will practice. And thank you, life, for giving me exactly what we wanted and giving me also this as a perfect opportunity to practice what I preach. Because then my next question, and this is the exercise I was doing for myself before starting this podcast episode. Because quality of your life is determined by the quality of your question. So then rather than stressing myself in my head, asking how the heck am I going to do it all, I realized that's not the smartest question to ask myself. And I turned it around into, well, what's the most important thing for me this summer? What are my priorities? Whenever you feel overwhelmed, just sneak it into priorities. Just write down 1 or 2 top, which I did. And how can I keep these priorities going while having fun, being present, and enjoying the best summer ever yet? Because I'm not giving that up. My intention was for this summer to be my best summer ever. Being able to help all the women that need help. Being able to be there for my team, like supporting my team, while trashing that junk employee mentality that I need to be working hard, incredible hours, days and nights in order to do that. No, finished with that. The less I do, the more I make, the more people I help, and the happier I am. So thank you, life, for giving me the ultimate opportunity to test it, how well I can do it. I will keep you posted. And finally, yes, this was my final point that I wanted to share with you in this long episode. Thank you for being with me all the way till the end. That tells me you really care and you're having fun with me. My next vision board. I started putting my next vision board when I saw that one from 14 years back. I started creating a new one for the next 10, 15 years forward. Because this is the light at the end of the tunnel of some of these heavier, more full days. This is what keeps me going. No matter the haters, no matter the people who would come and want to trigger my not good enough trauma, my trauma of my money, limiting money beliefs. Oh my goodness, we could even do a podcast episode on that one. How much of my money beliefs I had to clean up, such an imposter. And then some people come on that assessment call, and when they hear the price of the program, they start making comments that would normally make my trauma make me feel like I'm greedy. How do I dare charging so much money from busy moms? How do I dare, and they don't say it directly, but sometimes it seeps in through the lines, kind of like from the people making Facebook comments and Instagram comments, kind of, how do you dare making a living on people's pain? Like, you're looking for people who are in pain, who are moms, who are feeling ashamed and guilty of yelling kids, and you're building a business, you're making money, you're feeding your family with money, taking them from these poor moms. How dare you? And yeah, so this is a lot of my own cleanup that I had to do to focus on what is in my control, which is helping moms who want the help, and then seeing them realize that and seeing them have those results and having the joy to celebrate with them all that progress, perfectly imperfect, knowing that yes, we are changing lives and we are breaking the generational trauma. And how do I do that and focus on that without being taken down by the haters and judges? And it's completely normal and then those people are there. But how do I keep my eyes on the road? And this is how I keep my eyes on the road, having the bigger vision 10, 15 years from now. Because we got enough proof. We know that the system I developed, I didn't think of the two pillars, the specific generational trauma therapy and mental fitness that we do together. And you have tons of podcast episodes previously that explain how we do that. But me putting these already well developed and researched and proven things together in a unique way, I have now enough proof that it works. And the best thing about it is that it works even when I'm not doing these trauma sessions, that I build that team who helps me do that so that I can free up my energy and space for having even bigger vision. And that's what's on my next vision boards that I'm putting together, because the bigger vision is indeed to help people who cannot afford it. Yeah. And here I'm not even talking about moms, but I want to get ahead of the curve. And my vision is to start working with kids, teenagers, and young parents who just realized like they are pregnant or they are expecting family, catching them before they have kids. So that we will keep working with moms and of everybody who's already yelling at their kids, because I have nothing but compassion for you. This is exactly what I went through, right? That's my story. We will keep being busy with you. But the more we grow and the more money we will be making extra, I want to fund it into this. And I have no idea how. And as they always say, I'm not going to say the bad word, but the how for now. F it. I don't know how yet. It's 10, 15 years ahead. Like, I had no idea how I was going to do it 15 years ago. I have no idea how I'm going to do it 15 years from now. But this is the big vision. Start helping people who don't have the money to pay for it as early as possible in the trauma loop before it gets reproduced in the next generation. So one of the ideas is either starting to help, teenagers or people who are in legal age, so that they don't have to have a contract signed by their parents. Because if we would work now with anybody who's younger than 18 years old in Europe, the legal age is usually 18, we would need a signature of their parents. I was doing trauma sessions with girls who were abused. They were 16, 17 years old. The problem was the parents. Because especially if the abuser is in the family, they want to hide it, keep it secret. They don't want all the nasty things. Once I start working with somebody who's 18 years old, they don't need anybody to sign off, because often these people are the root cause, right? So, but they don't have money. They don't have the money that we charge for the program to go through the program. But the idea is to fund and do either non-profit or whatever project to find these people and work with them for a minimum investment. There still needs to be investment, by the way, because the transformation begins with the transaction. The transformation, and I hear it from every single mom, they already start feeling better the moment they sign the contract and make the payment for the Zen Supermom program. Even without doing anything with the program. The transformation begins the moment they decide they are worth it and they are committing to it and they are doing it. And so that's why we are going to charge some minimum amount even to those young people, so that they show us they're invested in it and they have some skin in the game. They will do it, because what's often free, you're just like, no value. And I have so many of them. I'm just like, oh, there will be some investment, but it will be minimum, and we will fund the rest from the business. And then I also had the idea to work with moms who just found out they were pregnant and helping them catch them, so that their postpartum is better then. They don't have the hormones driving them completely into depression and suicide, and that they get the help before they start giving the trauma to their kids. Yeah, so that's the big vision. Don't ask me how, don't ask me when, and like what specifically. I have no clue right now. But I believe that once you have the vision, once you put your eyes on the road, as I always say, just point the nose in the direction where you want to go, the path will reveal itself. And also the more you feel confident, I wanted to say these two words at the same time so it came out funny. Comfortable. The more comfortable you feel talking about it publicly or with the people who you know are going to understand, that it's as if you're speaking it into reality. Maybe there's somebody listening to this podcast episode the moment it gets released, maybe 1 year later. That's what I love about podcasts. You can always find it back even months or years later. Maybe somebody someday is going to find this episode and will say, oh my goodness, let me work, like let me help you, connect you, and this is what I am already doing, and let's do it together, and da-da-da-da-da. Maybe that's what will happen. Maybe that's part of it. I have no clue. I'm open. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm not going to let my fear talk about it. If there are any judges and haters who will criticize it, I do not care. But this is me speaking to the universe. This is where we are headed, because that's what... That's what makes my heart happy. I believe for some reason, and it's not my ego talking, I don't think I can save the world, and I don't build my identity around, I'm the savior, people, I'm going to remove the pain from this world, and I'm such an egomaniac. No, but it is my heart talking. I know this is part of my mission. This is why I'm here. This is why my life has turned out the way it did, all the way till here. And looking at my vision board 15 years ago was just part of it. It's just the confirmation. It's so amazing. So this is what I wish for you. Let this podcast episode and my long blah blah stories be a reminder for you to count your blessings and share your gratitude for how far you have come, despite the difficulties, despite not having maybe any idea 20 years ago what would it be now. And instead of focusing on things that are wrong and that are off, and like, yeah, easy for you to say because you're doing so well. No, count your blessings. Find the things you can be grateful for, that you are proud of yourself for doing well. Find your passion that's going to give you even more energy, and let that drive your next 10, 15, 20 years. How amazing would that be? Yeah. And then let me know. I always love to hear from the podcast fans. Send me a message, send me or somewhere on social media, find me, send me a picture. Share your picture of your vision board for the next 10, 15 years. Let's dream big. Wouldn't it be fun if this moment, if listening to this episode just unlocked something in you that was already there, that was already whispering to you, and you just finally took this as the last sign of universe. Yes, I am doing this. Yes, let's go. And even if that just let's go, the first step would be redoing your vision board. However that looks like. Who cares what vision board is or how you should do it? Who cares? Just have that intention in your mind and keep your nose pointed in that direction going forward. Even though you might not know what all the steps will be to get there. Who cares? You will figure it out. Just like you have done it in the past. You can. So please share. Please do let me know. And thank you for being here. I appreciate you. It really shows me that no matter how busy your life is and no matter how crazy, heavy sometimes it might feel to be a mom and not knowing, am I doing it right? What's wrong with me? And la, 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 la. You're doing great. And you just spent more than 45 minutes of your precious time on something you could have easily dismissed. You could have stopped listening. You could have said, I'm too busy for this stuff. And you didn't. That really tells me you were meant to find this episode today. You were meant to spend the time this way. So how can you make the best out of it? What are some whispers that you are not going to ignore anymore? And then let me know. You are the woman or a man for who I'm doing this podcast. I'm doing it for you. And so if there was just one person who was touched by this episode, if there was just one, then my time was well spent. I did it for you today. So enjoy. I'll see you in the next one, episode 101. Let's start the next 100. Why can't you stop yelling at your kids? And no, it's not the stress, lack of sleep, kids not listening, fighting, hitting, no support, time pressure, ADHD, hormones. No, moms around the world are doing it regardless. How? Join us for the upcoming Mommy Tantrum training and find out too.